See, right, so first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba Shemi Oshai, Ba Shemi Kakadash. We say, double and Apostle, and Elos Agreements and Rubel, our teachers, our apostles in the truth, and we see salutations, so the acting, we say the push with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or the season, we say Shalom. Once again, going into a video here and touching upon some news. Right now, this news particularly comes out from the island here, which is in the island Trinidad, but majority of the countries worldwide, you know, no matter which part you go and look, and if you type in digital economy, if you type in data centers, you type in the AI, you would see majority of countries all around the world talking about this thing, right? Even recently, I was reading an article, right, that I can't remember the person name, but they were saying from the data centers and from the digital economy, we are going to introduce something that would be inside of you to access these things more easier, right? And we all, and hey, knowing the prophecy of the MOTB, we know they are talking about that chip, right? Because that is the road it heading on to, right? Putting everyone to get chip. Now, reading this article here, it said the government is defending its plan to bring artificial intelligence data centers to Trinidad and Tobago, saying concerns over the environment and energy demand will be fully addressed before any project gets the green light. I know when you go and look up these data centers, right? You would see the kind of damage it's doing to the to the area where it is. You know, again, the water, it's sucking up majority of the water. There were articles that came out that saying in the span of a certain amount of years, there wouldn't even be drinkable water for people to drink. You know, that is how bad it is, right? That is the kind of damage this thing is doing. Now, this is the kind of stuff you get from the wicked. Scriptures talk about them, rest up paraphrase, and destroy them and destroy the world, right? Or destroy the earth, right? And we're seeing, again, what do you expect the wicked to bring forth? You know, let me bring the scripture here. Let me get it in the book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13, verse 23. It says, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to doing evil. They can't expect anything good to come from an accustomed to doing evil. You know, when you listen to Esau, right, talk about these data centers, they make it seem like if it's something so beneficial, it's something so good, you know. Nah, it not. And there was a video I was watching some months ago, and the first time they was actually promoting the data centers and so forth, they were showing it to be like a beneficial thing. How they was buying all the land and pushing the data centers and all these things, right? And over this period of that time, people came out who were actually living close to these data centers, showing the kind of damage it's been doing, right? The kind of damage it's been doing. But again, all this goes into the plan that Esau have. So that way it say, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to doing evil. Then but are accustomed to doing evil, they have no good to come from them. So when you listen to these governments talk about, you know, data centers are going to be beneficial for you and they're going to help you out. No, there's something evil to come from it. You know, these people are accustomed to doing evil. They really expect they put stuff here to help you? No. No, it has no help to come from these people, right? Surah chapter 14 and verse 7, it say, and if he do it good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, and at the last you would see why they wanted these data centers so close. They wanted to build these things. Why every single country have these things inside of it. You know, they're making it seem so beneficial to you. But it literally, and as it say here, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. At the last, you would see why they wanted these things. You would see why they want to introduce this digital economy and so forth, right? And it goes straight down to that part of what the MOTB, right, being chipped, taking that mark, right? So let me just play this
natural gas shortage redefine Trinidad and Tobago's economic future. Just days after signing memorandum of understanding with two American companies to explore the development of AI data centers worth an estimated US $5 billion, questions are already being raised over the project's environmental footprint and enormous energy demands. But what is a data center and why does it require significant resources to be sustained?
A data center is basically a big storage area where you have multiple hard drives and systems that are operating and servers that are operating and running that connected to the internet, and that allows you to run different types of applications, softwares. You can store terabytes of information on that system.
But Minister of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence Dominic Smith insists the public should not mistake the agreements for final approvals. He assures any project that advances will undergo the necessary technical, environmental and regulatory assessments and says the bigger picture is that this country is attracting the attention of some of the world's leading technology companies. But one environmental expert says enthusiasm must be matched with careful planning. Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Food and Agriculture at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, Dr. Ronald Rupnarang, says because the agreements are still only MOUs, it is too early to draw conclusions about their environmental impact. He believes treated wastewater could potentially be used for cooling data centers and that the resource is not a primary problem.
On paper, Trinidad is...
And this is just the lies that they put forth, right? Now, you see Elamites, there are Elamites, there are Edomites, right? Some Ishmaelites talking about here. This is who in the power seat down in the island down here right now. But he had made a statement talking about the data centers would be eating up what they say, basically dirty water, contaminated water, right? And that's not true, because even the top data centers in America and some of these other places, right, they are saying that it uses clean water. They actually want to put restrictions on citizens or get them a higher bill or something along those lines I was reading, so that they wouldn't consume so much water that the data centers wouldn't be able to have, right? And again, going back to what the scriptures say, right? And if he do it good, he do it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, right? They can't that is what it is. At the last you would really see why they wanted these centers outside here. You know, at the last, I would say at the last he will declare his wickedness. You would see why, right? Now going to the second part of this same headline, it says, but while some experts say the proposal could help transform the economy's digital economy. Now, this is another important thing here. Digital economy, because you know the lines it's heading down to, right? And that's going on to what? The MOTB, because everything is becoming digital. Now you're swiping and going. You're entering into a business place. They already have it in their mind. You're swiping and going, right? So it becoming like a normal thing to you. You're getting so accustomed to these things. You know, in work, right? Majority of the people, they ain't coming to pay cash. You know, how we paid. They're paying with a card, just swipe and just go. So being in that mindset and already again accustomed to those things, how you feel these jigs? You feel these jigs going and turn down that chip, and that's what I say. You know, actually go and look up. I find by that video where the guy was talking about it with the data centers, the digital economy, how everything aligned with each other, right? But the last goal of it is to basically put something inside of you, right? So you would have that technology inside of you, and we know it is the top is speaking about, right? That chip, right? So it could help transform the country's digital economy. Others are questioning whether Trinidad and Tobago can afford the financial and environmental impact. And the thing about it is this: they actually, the person who is in charge right now of Trinidad, she's dealing that Elamite. She's dealing straight with those Edomites. You understand? it used to have these 1%, right? The Syrians and them down here, they would have been considered the 1%. She actually getting rid of them because she dealing straight with those Edomites, right? So would they have the money? Yes, because the whole world is changing into that. The whole world isn't coming into that. That is why the script, when you go to the Revelation 13, right? Revelation 13, and let me read from verse 15. It say, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of a beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now there's a petition going around where they want people to sign, these change.org petitions. They want people to sign that so that they wouldn't put the data centers. But those things don't work because the scriptures say here, and he had power. This is something these jakes fail to realize, is that they had the power to do these things. You could go and protest, do what? No, they have the power to do these things. The changing is saying it's a whole changing of a system. They're going to introduce the next step. You're hearing them talking about it, the new line, the new era of technology, the new era of society, the new era of payments. You're hearing, as King Charles was saying recently, he said his ministers is going to introduce, he's going to make sure everyone has that digital ID, right? You had to use the public, if you had to use the public transports, if you had to be in public, you have to have the digital ID. When you hear these things, you're seeing it, you know where it's heading on to. No, obviously, the men of the Lord, they would see that, but the rest, the scriptures mentioned, they were blinded, right? They're going on, a lot of them right now, right? I've seen recently where a lot of them are speaking about, the chip and so forth, right? But when time comes where, in order to buy or sell, right, they're going to take that chip. They're not going to give up this thing. A lot of them, all they say that precursor or the before was the job. And watch how much of them went and take the job. Watch how much of them take the job. You really feel Jake this? One thing about the Jake here, right? In these Jakes on this side, by tomorrow they already forget about this. You feel one is only for a day that's actually take it on until eventually it come back and it hit them hard. And that is how it going to be when this chip come out. Right? That's what it say. It say to transform the country's digital economy. When they hear those to transform it going on that dollar, that paper dollar, that is going to phase away. The new thing is coming in. Right? So it say, verse 16, it say, and he caused all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. What? A mark. And I've seen before, right? And hearing so much of these elites, these top, governments talking about, hey, we're gonna introduce something that all they would have to get in order to integrate into society. What Klaus Schwab said some years ago, he said, if you don't have what we are bringing next, you wouldn't be able to, you will become an outcast to society. You wouldn't be able to function in this society. You would need to have what we are given, right? You wouldn't be able to go in the shop. You wouldn't be able to go in the grocery. That is why when I hear these words, but while some experts say the proposal could help transform, when you look at that word transform, right? Let's get the meaning quick. Let's go on Google first. Transform. Right? Transform meaning. It says to transform means to completely alter the form, appearance, nature, or character of something. Transforming it. Changing of that whole. It's a completely alter. That changing of what the paper dollar and going into something new. That is what all these places doing. America talking about it on every single day. It says science and physics, right? This is just an example they're given, common uses and context. science and physics to convert one form of energy into another, electronics to increase or decrease the so that is electronics, right? But I wanted to get transform. It said transform, right? It said to change in composition or structure, to change in composition or structure the whole digital system, right? You swipe, you having that chip inside of you, that mark inside of you to buy or sell, right? To scan it, to go, right? That would say to change in composition or structure, the whole thing's going to phase away, checking and all these things, swiping a card, all these things going to go, right? So you say, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. So you again, you hear him speaking about it. If they transform this whole economy, you feel your paper dollar going to be useful? No, it's not. You would need to have what what they deem, what would be considered the thing to use to buy or sell. And you would need to have that mark, right? So it's saying to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, right? It's a number of a man, right? Shit, are we seeing it? You see how all these countries talking about digital economy, data centers, all these things align with each other, and it's going on that part of the MOTV, right? So with that, once again, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yoshai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. We say that when Apostle and let's agree, Muslim and Rubel, our teachers are personally shoot, and we say salutations, so the outcomes that put you with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or season, we say, Shalom.